So I've made the rear mounts, got all that all measured up. It's roughly in place right now, but obviously rear mounts aren't on. Took a day to measure everything up and start cutting things. These are the mounts that we made, big platforms. Those two holes are for the engine, obviously there, and then this sits inside the chassis. Those three bolts there, those three, and then them three. They're going to be 12 mils. Some M12s going through them. So I made that. It's quite substantial, really. Might be slightly overkill, but better to be over than under, I guess. Not the best welding in the world, but it's stuck together. So it's both of them. This side as well. They're ready to get cut out. Them holes. Cut all them holes out tomorrow for the 12 mils, and then that can be bolted in. I did a test fit before, just on them three. Then there's actually two underneath as well that hold this bracing bar on that go through. That there, and it kind of holds it on. Doesn't flex too much, which you thought it'd just fall through the chassis, really, but flexes a little bit. I'm going to make a bell housing plate to kind of go across, kind of do what that bar's doing at the moment, and then it'll connect onto that output drive and then onto the main output drive, like a bell housing, but not a bell housing, I guess. Yeah, that one's done as well. Fully seam welded up. Like I say, it is a bit overkill. They're f***ing well heavy. But better to be over than under. So I'll drill all them out, get the bolts in place. Bolt it all up tomorrow. I'll start thinking about making bell housing out of this 6mm. Which goes through cutting discs. Should plasma cut it, really. I've got a plasma cutter as well back there. Just forgotten about it. I reckon I'll get a brace bar out of that as well to run across the chassis. And it stops the whole thing from like falling, twisting the chassis. Because I can twist the chassis just by grabbing it. Because I've taken one of the centre strengtheners out. It used to be here. It used to be, you can see there where the angle line is. Ran across here and bolted to that. I guess that kind of did the job of stopping the chassis from twisting. I guess that's the problem with C-section chassis. They don't rot as bad, but how they twist. So yeah, to be continued tomorrow. Make the front mounts as well. Front mounts are going to be a similar sort of smaller version of that, I'll replace all these various bolts here. One's for spring hanger, so I'll get rid of this reinforcing thing. Get rid of that. And the other bolts back there are for that brace bar. Runs on underside. So I'll make all that part of the actual mount. And yeah, there'll be studs going through and holding those big long studs there, big long bolts. Weld them on the bottom, and you can just lift the engine up if you need to. Hopefully you won't need to, but you could just lift it up if you had any problems and you needed to take the engine out. It'd be a lot easier. Yeah, hopefully tomorrow that'll all be stuff finished and I can make that bell housing strengthener thing. I'll get on my fronts. Get the fronts done. Couple of days, I reckon. Couple of days. I'll have it done by the end of the week. And get it off this rig, which has been super stable. Rocking the engine backwards and forwards. And it's been right. So, don't know what I was worrying about. Anyway. So these are the front mounts I made. Fairly substantial. They're only tacked together at the moment. Till I figure out all the hole placements are right. And it all fits correctly. Yeah, got them on the sides. There's a couple more. Obviously. Main ones on top there, they're just rough marks for the moment. That's the chassis mark there, where it sits inside the chassis. Yeah, it's a bit more difficult than the other ones because it's actually wedge shaped. I don't know if you can tell that. It's actually wedged shaped. It sits inside the chassis there. I've had to take off all the spring hanger. I'm replacing all that and internally inside the C-section because it has like a little strengthener at the back of it all. So I'm building that into that, replacing all of it, as well as this bar down here. It has these undercarriage strengthener things. I think that's what they are. And it bolts to the chassis there on that rod. So they're going to be incorporated inside the C-section as well. It all sits in there quite snug. That's what it did look like. Get rid of that, all them bolts. Well, not getting rid of the bolts, just replacing them. Get rid of that strengthener section. Yeah, that sits there. Little platform for that mount. Yeah, it fit quite nicely. Before I put that webbing in. And the other one's still to be made. It's all in bits there. Just measured out the internals of the chassis rail, and that one's obviously fit 2 holes to go in. So that's ready to get offered up. measure it all out again, make sure everything's in the middle, everything's level. I'll do that side. Taking my safety tie wraps off. Safety tie wraps. Or zip ties, whatever you want to call them. Safety zip ties. I'm going to leave it overnight like that. Should be alright. Or I might put them back on overnight. I'm going to put them back on. Now that I've said that. Yeah, these are just rough markings of where the plates were going to go for all these bolt locations. I'll probably put maybe one there and one there, strengtheners, and one there, one there. No need for ones underneath because, like I said, there's bolt holes there. Obviously this spring hanger. It's quite a strong thing, that, really. Amazing how nearly 100-year-old and it all comes apart. Yeah, I get 2 and 3-year-old cars in here sometimes with bolts that just won't come out. You get the gas axe on them. This, no, it'll come apart. It's amazing, really. It really is. Anyway, so yeah, there's that. Off that up and drill the holes tomorrow. Make sure everything lines up, and I'll make the other side, and then we'll see if it's going to fall through the chassis, and all that work has been pointless. These are the finished front mounts. They're all stuck together now. The old hot glue gun for both sides. Just raised up the engine to be able to fit them in. I just drilled the chassis as well. Drill the chassis there and there. And same on the other side. So I'll try and fit them now. See if they all fit in and line up.